In today's news, a Ministry of Health issues a negative test and clearance to visitor, refuses to confirm that it was a case of a false negative, while leaving the public to believe that the individual breached quarantine and deliberately put persons at risk. Davis Funeral Home makes decision to close temporarily after not being engaged by health officials. Vanderpool Group acquires Pussers British Virgin Islands Limited. Virgin Islands residents receive Toastmasters honorary membership and Bermuda Premier. 1,000 plus COVID cases recorded. He's saying we're in a dangerous place. All this and so much more when 284 News returns. Welcome everybody, it's Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. I'm Ron Grant coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the beautiful British Virgin Islands. Good evening, happy Tuesday to each and every one of you, and thank you so much for tuning in. Now on to a very special edition of your local newscast as well as regional and international content. Beginning on a summary note, vaccinations across the territory of the Virgin Islands continue this week at locations listed on the flyer being shown on the screen. They are R&R Malone Complex, Popwood Pond, St. William's Catholic Church, Rotown, Seventh-day Adventist Church, Fat Hogs Bay, and the Nurse Iris O'Neill Clinic, Virgin Gorda, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. Now, we have some details as it pertains to how many vaccines have been administered so far, but we're going to get into that a little later on. Now, beginning on a local scene here in the BVI, on Sunday, March 28th, health officials from the Ministry of Health and Social Development in the British Virgin Islands issued a statement informing the public that persons who attended a local funeral on Saturday, March 27th should isolate and get tested. The statement read, and I quote, "Ministry of Health is notifying the public that a person who tested positive for COVID-19 attended a funeral held on Saturday, March 27, 2021 at the Seacows Bay Methodist Church. All persons who attended the funeral should isolate for 10 days and contact the public health unit from Monday, March 29th between 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. to schedule your test. There is no payment associated with the testing." Now, additionally stating that persons who had their vaccinations 4 weeks prior will not be required to quarantine. This correspondence further strongly recommended that unvaccinated persons get their vaccine as soon as possible, as to prevent persons from getting COVID-19 or seriously ill from COVID-19, which caused many residents to come to the conclusion that this was in some way a scare tactic. Now, what officials have refused to highlight is that the individual did receive a negative test and clearance letter and have allowed the public to believe that the individual breached quarantine and deliberately put others at risk, which was not the case. Our newsroom is in receipt of the letter of confirmation detailing the negative test and clearance for leaving quarantine. The letter, which indicates that the individual was tested on March 24th and received the test results and clearance on March 25th, clearly states that by nasal swab, the negative test was received for SARS-CoV-19 PCR result. Since the announcement on Sunday, residents have been in a frenzy with unwarranted accusations looming as to the individual's breaching of the quarantine and deliberately putting others at risk. Yet officials have refused to come forward and confirm that the person did receive a negative test, and this was in fact a case of a false negative. Now, a false negative, as you know, is a test result that appears negative when it should not, which in is not irregular when testing for a number of illnesses. The looming question is then, why would health officials allow the public to falsely believe that someone breached quarantine when this was not the case? Now, when asked by our team of reporters during a recent virtual Q&A held by the Minister of Health and other health officials if this could have been in fact a case of a false negative, the question was ignored. Now, in conducting investigations and compiling data on a series of test results conducted by the Ministry of Health and, of course, the correspondence given to patients, the test result and clearance from the visitor, which was given, is visibly different to all other test forms. It carries bits and pieces of similar information and does not clearly state on what day of testing the negative test was received. In other words, was the negative test and clearance form which the visitor received issued on day 0, day 1, or day 4. This is usually stated in letters in the form of type equals day 4. Now, additionally, after being provided a negative test and clearance form, when was the positive test detected? Is it possible that special arrangements were made for the visitor? Now, some visitors appear to be testing positive on day 4 or upon exit when negative for pre-arrival, arrival, and in some cases day 4. We of course are going to keep you updated as more details continue and investigations continue. On Monday, March 29th, in a Facebook post, Director of Davis Funeral Home, one of the territory's primary funeral homes, Mr. Robert Wright, issued a statement informing the public that they will be closed until April 6th, Tuesday. His decision, he said, as a result of a recent publication from the government of the Virgin Islands, which we just discussed, issued on Sunday, March 28, informing the public of exposure at a recent funeral held at the Seacoast Bay Methodist Church on Sunday, March 27. The government publication read, the Ministry of Health officials are notifying the public that a person who tested positive for COVID-19 attended a funeral held on Saturday, March 27, 2021. Now, the statement by Davis Funeral Home director read, and I quote, "I have heard on many occasions, more than one occasion, that we at the funeral home are considered essential workers. At the time of writing, I have heard nothing from the Department of Health or anyone in an official capacity except from the press release which we just mentioned that went out to the general public. That being the case, I feel it is now upon me as the business owner to take responsible position in spite of the limited knowledge that I have. From now until next Tuesday, Davis Funeral Home will be closed to the public, with all business being conducted over the phone or via Zoom." Now, Mr. Wright continued by saying, and I quote, "All of our employees who were in the funeral home after last Thursday night, anytime Friday, at Saturday's funeral, or at the gravesite have been informed of what is known and instructed to isolate and test. Although, as an employer, I cannot legally force anyone to comply, all have been informed." As it pertains to the daily operations of the morgue, Wright said, "I will be going down daily to check the morgue freezer during these times. I will be alone from house to car to company." He also indicated that a funeral scheduled for this coming Saturday has been postponed. Now, viewers, of course, cases are expected to be detected as the territory of the Virgin Islands continues to maneuver and move towards reopening. Nevertheless, there seems to be a number of inaccuracies and inconsistencies as it pertains to the testing protocols, and we will, of course, continue to keep you updated on that, and we continue to wish all of our residents and the health officials the best as they continue to progress and do the job to their best of the ability in trying, of course, to keep us all safe. Still ahead, Vanderpool Group acquires Pussers British Virgin Islands Limited, and we have so much more in that story. It's a very exciting story for Virgin Islanders. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. You're watching 284 News.
The win.
What in the hell?
I'm freaking out.
Gender is about these people.
It's always a pleasure coming to you live and direct from the
What's poppin'? What's really good?
Davis has won it for the Lakers.
Gentlemen, aspiring gentlemen, and our partners that hold us down. It's season 2 of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, taking you on the most inspiring journey with the best and brightest distinguished gentlemen of the BVI. Raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men like you've never seen them before. Governor Augustus J.U. Jaspert, Jovan Klein, Neil Klein, and so much more. Turning modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen with yours truly, Ron Grant, a 284 Media production.
Viewers, welcome back. You're watching 284 News out of Tortola in the British Virgin Islands. Mr. and Mrs. Mark Vantapool, founders of One Mart Superstore Group, last week acquired iconic British Virgin Islands hospitality and retail brand Pussers British Virgin Islands West Indies Limited. Pussers, a conglomerate in the restaurant, merchandise, and apparel industries, was founded over 40 years ago by entrepreneur and veteran war pilot Mr. Charles Tobias, MBE. It started as a four-stool bar in the heart of Roetown, Tortola, British Virgin Islands, the territory's capital. Now today, Pussers owns and operates or licenses restaurants, bars, and retail stores at several locations across the British Virgin Islands and in the United States. There is also a strong brand awareness at a Pussers presence in Canada, the UK, European, and Australian boating centers. Pussers is a lifestyle brand with a focus on the boating and sailing market. As Tobias likes to say, and I quote, "You can eat it, drink it, and wear it." The Pussers line of apparel is eclectic, traditional, comfortable, and functional. Now, the brand has a solid following in the U.S. and worldwide sailing markets. The Pussers Landing are a combination of a restaurant and bar with an attached Pussers co-store. Now, the brand is well known for its painkiller, which is promoted with great success in many of the world's renowned bars and watering holes. In 2020, the prestigious Drinks International publication listed the painkiller as number 22 of the world's top 100 cocktails. Pussers also owns the trademark for painkiller bars, which are intended for opening in key U.S. locations. The Pussers rum operation was spun off and sold in 2014 due to specific laws in the U.S. which prohibited the simultaneous ownership of a bar and spirits products. Mr. Mark Vantapool commented, and I quote, "Although some of my investment advisors thought I was crazy to be buying a restaurant business in the middle of a COVID-19 pandemic, I have immense confidence in the history and culinary traditions, often synonymous with the British Virgin Islands, that Pussers was developed over the past 4 decades. We are looking forward to building on the legacy and foundation laid by Mr. Charles Tobias and Pussers team by focusing even more on one of my greatest passions, service. Service is at the heart of every establishment in our group of companies. We are pleased to join Mr. Tobias' former management to, of course, ensure that the Pussers' hard-working employees are fully compensated with the full benefits due to them. We extend our deep condolences to the family of Tenant Cart, General Manager and CFO of Pussers, who suddenly passed this week. He was quiet. He was a quiet giant, he said, a man who loved our BVI and one of the great humanitarians to have passed our way. Now, Mr. Tobias said, and I quote, "Pussers has faced major challenges over the past few years and was heavily dependent on a strong BVI visitor base. Subsequently, the company was severely impacted by the recession, then of course by Hurricanes Irma and Maria, and more recently the COVID-19 pandemic. With virtually no visitor traffic, the past 12 months have been exceptionally challenging for our business, especially for our staff of over 100 employees, and it has been so for many persons employed in the hospitality industry, not only in the BVI but across the world. We are exceptionally pleased that the Vantapool Group not only purchased the company, which as part of the arrangement covers all severance owed to our employees. Almost of all of our team members have been facing extreme difficulty, financial hardships over the past year. Their severance checks, I'm sure, will be a welcomed relief." Now, Tobias continued, "My wife, Joanna, and I, our former Chief Financial Officer and General Manager, Mr. Kurt Tennecat, who suddenly and sadly passed away from a heart attack last week, and the whole Pussers team will continue to be solidly behind and continue the growth and development of the worldwide Pussers brand. Now, as we know, the baton has been passed forward to the Vanderpool Group, and he said, "I have no doubt that Mark Vanderpool will take the Pussers opportunity to a whole new level." The One-Mart Superstore Group is one of the leading companies in the BVI food and beverage provisioning sector. The Vanderpool Group also owns the OM Holdings International Inc. and several other growing service businesses. Congratulations to Mr. Mark Vanderpool and his family, and of course, viewers, Mr. Vanderpool and Charles Tobias were in studio today, so in case you missed that interview, please feel free to check it out on our website and Facebook page. Continuing on the local scene, Mr. John Lewis, founding member and past Toastmaster in good standing, and Deputy Governor Mr. David Archer Jr. were both granted honorary membership into the Tortola Toastmasters Club of the British Virgin Islands on Friday, March 26 at 5 p.m. at 7 at the Pier in Road Town, Tortola. They were conferred this honor for their continued support and alignment to the Toastmasters' purpose and overall educational goals in the areas of communication and leadership. Now, the afternoon opened with our treasurer and Toastmaster Wilson Walters, she gracing the occasion with an opening prayer to commemorate this historic moment, and of course the president of Toastmaster, Portia Stout, welcoming the honorees, Toastmasters, and guests. This occasion was a history-making one, as it was the first time in the history of the Tortola Toastmasters Club that such an honor was bestowed, and they could have not been any more delighted to have both these gentlemen being honored. They said, "We heard that it meant to be what it meant to be an honorary member in the Toastmasters Club from our Secretary Toastmaster, Patricia Blaze Adams, as she stated that although as honorary members they are not required to pay dues, they will have voting rights within the club or holding any office. This honor allows them to continue to attend any of the regular meetings or events to inform, inspire, motivate, and of course encourage the leadership mindset and growth of Toastmasters." Now, Vice President Education Toastmaster Melanie James introduced the honorees and really expressed how their individual qualities exemplified the mission and core values of the Toastmasters Club. This was followed by the pinning of each recipient by President Portia Stout, as she reiterated, "This is indeed an historic and auspicious occasion." The highlight of the afternoon was the honorees' responses as they shared their gratitude and sentiments. "It's good to be recognized, and it's good to be loved, and I am pleased to be recognized as one who contributes not only to Toastmasters Club, but to this community as a whole," were the words of one of the honorees, Mr. Lewis, who is well known for being a tower and beacon of the club. Deputy Governor of the Virgin Islands, Mr. David Archer Jr., a master communicator, followed. After testing the general knowledge of Toastmasters about the club, he spoke about hope and asking, "So what does hope look like? And what does Toastmasters embody?" He answered stating, "Not just the ability to speak publicly, but the ability to inspire, provide hope, show confidence, and create new and amazing leaders." Now, the mission of Toastmasters is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience with members who are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. The Toastmasters International motto is "Where leaders are made," and these were stated by the Sergeant-at-Arms Toastmaster Hector Cruz Jr. as he recited the mission of the Toastmasters. Now, the event ended with their Vice President of Membership, Toastmaster Linda McGlure, giving the vote of thanks. Of course, the honor of becoming an honorary member of the Tortola Toastmasters Club can be conferred upon persons from within the community who align with the Toastmasters educational goals and purpose for past Toastmasters in good standing, who are no longer able to attend meetings on a regular basis, but who are still committed to the leadership growth of the Toastmasters Club. Now, the Tortola Toastmasters Club meets every first, third, and fifth Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. via Zoom. Of course, because of the global pandemic currently infecting us, protocols, they no longer meet in person, but are still encouraging persons who are interested in the meetings to contact the Tortola Toastmasters Club. Congratulations to Mr. John Lewis, of course, and Deputy Governor of the Virgin Islands, Mr. David Archer, on the honorary status that has been bestowed upon them. We know the Toastmasters Club continues to do remarkable remarkable work in instilling communication skills, public speaking skills to persons who are interested here in the British Virgin Islands. Viewers, still ahead, Bermuda, 1,000 plus COVID cases recorded. The premier of that territory is saying that they're presently in a dangerous place, unfortunately. We're going to cover that story, all this after a word from our sponsors. You're watching 284 News.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Viewers, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Now on the regional scene, the government of Bermuda has imposed tougher restrictions, including the closure of schools, churches, and gyms for 2 weeks after dozens of more new COVID-19 cases push Bermuda's total beyond the 1,000 mark. According to Premier David Burt, we are in a dangerous place. He made the comment late Saturday following records of 81 new confirmed cases among 1,339 test results. This follows reports of 33 cases a day earlier, bringing the total over the past 12 months to 1,028. Of these, 294 are active cases, with one patient in the hospital. To date, 12 people have died from the virus in Bermuda. Around 20% of Bermuda's 64,000 population have so far received both jabs from the supplier of Pfizer vaccine sent to the island, a British overseas territory, by the government in London. Now, Health Minister Kim Wilson said Bermuda was experiencing a third wave, which was likely to be bigger than the second wave as it involves the UK variant, which is more transmittable. She said, "This is a significant outbreak. As said on Saturday night, we have never experienced community spread. We have a very, very serious problem. Between 80 and 90% of the new cases are due to the UK's variant, and the mean age of those affected is 33. Wilson said, "It is now more critical than ever to take responsibility for our own behavior and act in an abundance of caution." She said, "All of this is preventable, and some people are selfishly ignoring the rules." Wilson said the contact tracing workload is continuing and intensified significantly with the latest surge in cases. Because of the high level of transmission in respect to this particular virus, it's becoming to be overwhelming. She said, according to the Premier, Bermuda will recover from the setback, but has a renewed effort to mitigate the risk caused by the surge in cases, and it is sincerely needed. The series of new restrictions came into effect as of 6 a.m. on Sunday. The stricter measures that will be adopted are designed not only to protect but preserve the basic progress we all made over the last year, Burt said. Now, this UK strain is a variant that has caused many other countries to suffer slowdown in the fight against the coronavirus. Our island, he said, is at a serious juncture. Our public health system is being significantly challenged. The teams are struggling to keep up with the contact tracing, struggling to keep up with the work that is necessary in order to control this outbreak. Burt said churches will be closed for indoor services, indoor restaurants, dining will be prohibited, apart from in hotels, indoor gyms and indoor cinemas will be closed, as well as venues such as museums and bowling alleys. In addition, retail and grocery stores will be limited to 20% capacity. Schools will be closed. Also, campuses will be closed and remote working will be mandatory where possible. But licensed daycares will be allowed to remain open. We see a very unfortunate situation over in Bermuda, where they are experiencing a third surge of cases, which is grappling their health services, and we continue to wish our brothers and sisters over in Bermuda the very best. The Royal Virgin Islands Police Force here in the BVI Criminal Investigations Department arrested and charged an 18-year-old male of no fixed place of abode with burglary and criminally damaging instances of damaging a CCTV camera on several establishments within the Road Town area. Mackay Heskey has confessed so far to 5 offenses, 1 burglary and 4 counts of criminal damage. He is charged with removing or damaging CCTV cameras outside of 4 businesses between McNamara and Pickering Street. He is to be granted police bail and is scheduled to appear before the magistrate's court at a later date. Now, similarly, Marvin Gums of no fixed place of abode was charged with entering and taking items from at least 2 motor vehicles in the McNamara area, and Gums has a number of other matters that are pending. He was granted police bail and is also scheduled to reappear in the magistrate's court on these ongoing matters. Viewers, we thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, we have so much content available not only on our website but on our Facebook page, which we continue to encourage you to check out if we weren't able to get to all of the articles, both local, regional, and international stories. It is always our pleasure to bring you the daily happenings across the region and particularly in the British Virgin Islands. That's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for your daily updates at tweet4media.com and like us on Facebook at tweet4media and at tweet4bvi on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Ron Grant. We'll see you again tomorrow as we deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. We're Tweet4 News, your source for honest and impartial news, right here on Tweet4 Media. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.